weapons that this team is loading into a B-1B bomber are simulated B-61 thermonuclear bombs. If these bombs were real, each would have the explosive force of 500,000 tons of high explosive, enough to destroy a small city. In peacetime, even these simulated exercises are conducted with the tightest security.
During peacetime, we treat it just like wartime. We don't treat these any different. Nuclear weapons are nuclear weapons. There's an Air Force regulation that covers that, Air Force Reg 122.4. It's called two-man concept. It's a reg that states that no individual will be alone in an area with nuclear weapons. It's very critical that you don't leave any lone individual in the area that would have the time to tamper with a nuclear weapon or the system. So they have to keep in contact with each other all the way through the load. There's two security policemen usually at the aircraft tail end and the nose end, and they would, if they've seen the violation, would stop the load immediately. They would take the individuals to jail.
For all the training these airmen undergo, for all the expense and time spent designing these fearsome weapons, in the end, they will probably never be used. At the heart of Strategic Air Command doctrine is the notion of deterrence. Strategic weapons like the B-1 bomber are intended to deter aggression against the United States. If the B-1 is ever actually used, the policy has failed. The crews of these aircraft are all too well aware of their awesome responsibilities.
To use an analogy, my job is similar to like being a policeman. I don't think any self-respecting policeman would get up in the morning thinking that he's going to go out and shoot a criminal that day. I'm the same way. When I go to work, I don't want to pull out my gun, so to speak, and hurt someone. We're here to deter and keep people from attacking this country, and that's what we're here to do. If deterrence were to fail, to borrow a term from the Marine Corps, no one likes to fight, but someone has to know how, and that's what we're here to do.
Well, of course, you never want to have any major war break out, especially the kind of war that would happen when we're involved with the B-1. Our mission, of course, is deterrence, but we still have to get into the books, and we really study up for the mission if we really had to do it. I think, of course, we'd be highly motivated if the horn did go off and we were launched and we knew this was going to be the big war. I think we'd be probably more motivated thinking that probably our families wouldn't be here when we got back, so we'd probably do that much of a better job. Although we'd really hate to see that ever happen. Hopefully it never will.
In an age of intercontinental ballistic missiles, the manned strategic bomber may seem like an outdated concept. Yet the manned bomber still has one very important feature. In an international crisis, the bombers can be launched and then recalled if the crisis subsides. The manned bomber serves as an important political tool to a president in time of international tension.
The biggest one, I think, in terms of national command authority is the ability to recall the bomber. Once it's launched, if a tense situation subsides, our command authority can bring us back to a base and put us back on the ground. Another real good asset of the plane is a show of force. You can project it forward to forward bases, put it in the air, show an intent, where it's impossible to do that with, say, a land-based missile or a SLBM.
Future strategic bombers may look very different from today's B-1B. The United States Air Force has been developing the exotic B-2 stealth bomber. The B-2 carries the stealth features of the B-1B much further and is virtually invisible to radar. The manned bomber may no longer be the primary element of the strategic forces of the superpowers, but it is likely to remain an important element of the strategic triad into the 21st century.